In the vast landscape of internet horror myths, few are as unnerving, surreal, and endlessly haunting as the Backrooms. Born from a simple image and a single post, this digital urban legend has evolved into a sprawling universe of psychological terror, creeping anxiety, and endless speculation. Unlike traditional horror stories with clear antagonists or finite settings, the Backrooms is a labyrinth, an infinite, liminal space where the familiar turns alien, the mundane becomes menacing, and escape may be impossible. Origins: a meme turns myth. The Backrooms originated in 2019 on an anonymous image board. A user posted a grainy photograph of a featureless yellow-tinted room, endless fluorescent lit walls, stained carpet, and an unsettlingly bland atmosphere. The accompanying text warned, "If you're not careful and you no-clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the Backrooms. The first level is the Yellow Room." This post tapped into a primal fear, the uncanny intersection of the familiar and the wrong. At first glance, the room looked mundane, like an office space or a hotel corridor, but its emptiness and monotony were deeply unsettling. The concept was simple, yet terrifying. What if reality could glitch? What if, by accident or fate, you ended up somewhere endless, liminal, and hostile? The idea spread rapidly across forums, Reddit threads, and YouTube Creepypasta channels. The community expanded the story, adding levels, entities, and survival mechanics. The Backrooms had grown from a single image into a fully fledged horror universe, a modern, collaborative myth fueled by imagination and digital storytelling. Levels and endless horror. The Backrooms are defined by their levels, each more unsettling and dangerous than the last. Level 0, the original Yellow Room, is deceptively simple. Endless rooms and hallways, monotonous fluorescent lighting, and the hum of malfunctioning lights. Yet its familiarity is its terror. There is no natural rhythm, no windows, no exit, just the constant, oppressive hum of artificial illumination. Beyond Level 0, the myth expands exponentially. Level 1 may contain damp, industrial corridors and the sound of unseen machinery. Level 2 introduces heat, claustrophobic tunnels, and hostile entities stalking the lost wanderer. Level 3 and beyond are stranger, more surreal, shifting geometries, rooms that defy physics, and zones where reality itself becomes unstable. Each level heightens the sense of isolation, helplessness, and the creeping dread of being trapped in a world without end. What makes the Backrooms particularly disturbing is the lack of rules. Unlike a haunted house or a monster-filled maze, the Backrooms' horror comes from uncertainty. Time behaves strangely, physics is unreliable, and entities are unpredictable. Even if a traveler survives a level, the next may be worse, or entirely incomprehensible. The universe of the Backrooms is an infinite puzzle designed to keep players, readers, or viewers on edge indefinitely. Entities and the unknown. As the myth of the Backrooms evolved, so too did the nature of the threats that inhabit its endless corridors. These entities are not merely monsters, they are manifestations of the unknown, shapes and forces that defy conventional logic and perception. Some take vaguely humanoid forms, but with grotesque distortions. Elongated limbs, faceless heads, or impossibly twisted proportions that evoke both fear and revulsion. Others are less tangible, shadowy presences that flicker at the edge of vision, whispering from corners of rooms that may not even exist, or manifesting only in peripheral awareness. What makes these entities particularly terrifying is their unpredictability. Many are actively hostile, stalking explorers relentlessly, appearing suddenly to block exits, or using the environment itself as a weapon. Others are indifferent to the intruder's presence, yet remain dangerous simply through their existence. Malfunctioning lights that suddenly plunge a hallway into darkness, unstable floors that collapse without warning, or environmental distortions that warp perception and disorient travelers. In this way, the Backrooms becomes an ecosystem of terror, where even the mundane, walls, ceilings, and corridors, can betray a wanderer's expectations. Community storytelling has given these entities identity, lore, and terrifying abilities. Some are drawn to sound, such as footsteps or shouts, while others react only to light, movement, or signs of panic. Certain creatures appear only when a traveler is alone, preying on isolation and vulnerability, while others are territorial, attacking anyone who strays too close to their domain. The vast unpredictability of these beings amplifies the psychological horror. No rulebook exists, no map can predict the next encounter, and every step could be fatal. This uncertainty taps into a primal fear, the dread of being hunted in an environment with no landmarks, no exits, and no certainty. The terror is compounded by the claustrophobic repetition of the Backrooms architecture, identical hallways, endless fluorescent lighting, and the oppressive monotony of the spaces themselves. Even when no entity is visible, the atmosphere suggests surveillance, a silent presence just out of reach, waiting for a moment of weakness. In this sense, the entities are as much psychological as physical. They represent the fear of the unseen, the unpredictable, and the ungraspable, transforming a digital liminal space into a nightmarish landscape of existential dread. Through the combination of folklore, community storytelling, and player imagination, these entities have become central to the Backrooms mythos. They are not just obstacles or villains. They are symbols of the unknowable dangers that lie within infinite, uncanny spaces, reminding all who wander that the greatest threats may not be seen, only sensed, and that in the Backrooms, safety is an illusion, and every shadow could hide a predator. Survival and the human psyche. The Backrooms also explore psychological horror. Unlike conventional survival games or horror stories, the terror here is existential. Being trapped in infinite monotony erodes the mind, blurring the lines between reality and hallucination. Narratives describe explorers losing track of time, forgetting their purpose, or being driven mad by the monotony of endless rooms and unchanging fluorescent light. In a sense, the Backrooms reflect a deeper fear of modern life, the anxiety of being trapped in repetitive, monotonous spaces, alienation, and the unknowable consequences of a single misstep. The myth resonates because it takes familiar environments, offices, hallways, storage rooms, and transforms them into spaces of existential dread. The horror is not just physical, it is psychological, a test of perception, sanity, and the human instinct for order and chaos. Community expansion and cultural influence. From its humble origins, the Backrooms has become a collaborative cultural phenomenon. Reddit threads, YouTube series, VR mods, and indie games allow fans to explore levels, create entities, or simulate the disorienting experience of being trapped. Each contribution expands the mythos, adding lore, survival mechanics, or narrative depth. The Backrooms has also influenced mainstream media. Its concepts, liminal spaces, glitching reality, existential dread, appear in films, web series, and horror games. The aesthetic of empty, endless corridors and the creeping feeling of being watched has inspired art, music, and virtual experiences. What began as a single post has grown into a universe that explores the intersection of digital storytelling, horror, and human psychology. The allure of liminal spaces. What makes the Backrooms uniquely terrifying is its foundation in liminal space theory. Liminal spaces are transitional areas, hallways, waiting rooms, stairwells, that are neither here nor there, empty and unfamiliar, yet familiar enough to provoke unease. The Backrooms take these liminal environments and amplify them infinitely, creating an uncanny sense of dislocation. Players and readers feel the same anxiety one might experience wandering a deserted airport terminal at 3 a.m., familiar yet deeply alien. The horror lies in endless repetition, subtle distortion, and the constant awareness that escape may be impossible. Unlike conventional monsters, the environment itself becomes the antagonist. Every corner could be the same as the last, yet slightly wrong. Every sound is amplified, every shadow suspect. In the Backrooms, the mundane is transformed into a theater of existential dread, lessons, and legacy. The Backrooms has endured because it is more than just a story. It is a mirror to human fears of isolation, uncertainty, and loss of control. It demonstrates the power of collaborative storytelling in the digital age, showing how a single image and an idea can evolve into a shared myth that spans multiple media. It also reminds us of the unsettling potential of digital spaces. In a world where virtual reality, procedural generation, and expansive online worlds are becoming increasingly immersive, the concept of being trapped in an infinite, incomprehensible environment is not just science fiction, it is a plausible exploration of how human perception interacts with technology. The Backrooms challenge us to confront the unknown, to consider the fragility of orientation, sanity, and control in environments that feel familiar but are fundamentally alien. It is a myth that continues to evolve, expand, and terrify new generations of explorers, gamers, and horror enthusiasts. Conclusion: the story of the Backrooms is a haunting exploration of the unknown, a testament to the power of imagination, community storytelling, and digital folklore. It transforms everyday spaces into arenas of existential fear, where the familiar becomes alien and escape is never guaranteed. Whether encountered through a forum post, a mod, or a VR simulation, the Backrooms remains a chilling reminder that the most terrifying spaces are often those we recognize, but cannot understand. If this dive into the Backrooms fascinated you, hit like, subscribe for more creepy legends and gaming mysteries, and share your own experiences in the comments below. Have you ever wandered too far and felt the eerie pull of the Backrooms? Tell us your story. The maze is waiting.